Good morning and welcome to today's Facecast, day 101 of our Facecasts. Today we're in the book of Psalms, chapter 91, the first two verses, and I shall read them. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. Remembering that the Psalms are the poetry and the songs of the people of the Old Testament, the Israelites of old, and they would regularly sing and recite these things to remind themselves who God is and what their relationship with Him is. They didn't have the written word. They weren't literate people. They didn't read and write. They didn't have reams of books to turn to. And so they had to have ways of remembering and recalling and passing on through generation after generation. And the Psalms, the Proverbs and the Old Testament scriptures that were read to them, that they learned by heart, were the way of doing that. And what's interesting in these first four verses, apart from being a lovely poetical expression of who God is that there are four names that God is called, that the Lord is called. And they are two of the names, God and the Lord. It starts by saying, He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High. The Most High. Now there's an interesting expression, the Most High. It's saying that this person I'm relating to is above all other. He is supreme and superior to anyone else. If I'm answerable to anyone, it is to this person, the Most High, not to anybody lesser than him. The Most High is a wonderful expression of a relationship with someone in this sense, because it really refers to him as that supreme person. It goes on to say, will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Another name, an expression of who God is. The Almighty. Another word for Almighty would be omnipotent. And that's another one of the attributes of God. He is all-powerful. So this is somebody above everybody and who is all-powerful. There is no weakness in him. And that gives us a great confidence in relating to him. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. And then it says, I will say of the Lord, another expression of who God is, the Lord. A Lord is a ruler, somebody who rules over. And this is a kindly, a beneficent ruler who looks over his people and rules them kindly and sensitively and sensibly. We have God the Father, the Almighty. We have the ruler who came to be with us, Jesus the Son. That's two attributes of the same person. And the fourth part of that is, I rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. And God, of course, is another expression of who God is, that safe keeper of us, that place, that heaven, that haven of where we can go and be, that is safety and refuge. In fact, the word refuge is there in that verse. So these are the different attributes of who God is and how we can relate to him and what he means to us. He is the Most High, that is no one above him. He is Almighty, the omnipotent, all-powerful one. He is Lord, he is ruler and decider for us. And he is God, our safekeeper, to whom we can return. All contained in those two short verses in Psalm 91, verses 1 and 2. Great to dwell on the Psalms at the start or any part of the day, and remember just who God, our Maker, really is. Bye for now.